from Memphis, doing the honors for FSU. UC Santa Barbara and the Seminoles underway in Tully. Quickly out to the pin, an off-speed roll for Taylor Head to transfer from Arkansas, and FSU strikes first.
She's a preseason ACC player. In fact, she led the SEC last year, second in the SEC in kills per set. She's a phenomenal addition to the Seminoles.
Certainly is. When you add the 2 All-Americans that FSU had a season ago, Corey Lewis, Audrey Koenig, and then there's Taylor Head swinging away once again. She was an All-American at Arkansas.
And that's what makes her so good, Sean. She reads the defense. She does a tip the first time, and the second time rips it deep line. She's fantastic.
Coming back to the Sunshine State of Florida for her graduate year. Was born and raised in the Orlando area, was Taylor Head. Swing on the right pin for Rivas. Sophie Rivas got a whole lot of nothing, and this was the department that really started to click later on in the match yesterday, Alexandra, the blocking for FSU.
Exactly. It took a little bit of time for them to get comfortable, but as soon as those middles started reading the setters, they were in business. No surprise Corey Lewis was able to do that one there.
A 3-0 burst that is broken up by a service error. That gets the Gauchos on the board. So it will be Rivas who goes back to serve for UC Santa Barbara. She hails from Laguna Beach, California. Played as the opposite for the Gauchos last year.
Head coach Matt Jones talked about her, said that she's an incredible player. She's got a natural feel on serve receive. That's why they recruited her on the left pin. Last year they had 2 all-conference players on the outside, so that she just didn't play there. And now she's just now getting comfortable in this rotation.
And there's an ace serve for FSU. Taylor Head, what a start. A couple of kills and now dropping in the ace.
She knows exactly where to place it there. You go to the player that just made the error, serve it to them once again.
And there she goes once again to Rivas. Heavy swing from the right pin. That was Ava Travis. And FSU responds with some production from the right side as well.
Maddie Snyder has proven to be such a patient player for Florida State. She doesn't get the ball every time, but she's extremely efficient.
Snyder, number 10 in Garnet, a player that Chris Poole says is the tallest left-handed player he's ever coached. That's a service error.
Service errors were a little bit of an issue last night as well, Sean. 5 for Florida State, already 2 in this first set here.
Both of Santa Barbara's points have come off of FSU service errors. Leanna Green goes back to serve, the transfer middle blocker for UC Santa Barbara. Corey Lewis, a homegrown product. She spent her entire career here, and what a special one it has been.
Exactly. As soon as she's one-on-one, she knows exactly how to get her hand around that block. Blocker has no chance. Corey Lewis puts that ball away.
2.46 kills per set a season ago for Corey. And there's a good swing for UC Santa Barbara. It comes from Andy Kraling.
She is a captain of this team. A spark plug, knows exactly when to turn it on competitively and when to stay calm. Coach Matt Jones says, watch her there. She doesn't even have a full approach. She's limited, but that arm speed is so quick.
Kraling, you mentioned the captain for the Santa Barbara squad, started her career at Arizona State. Here's Audrey Koenig. Induces the overdig. Now out of the middle, Corey Lewis hunting the sideline, caught it. And FSU continues to roll here in this first set.
Once again, that one-on-one block is just not going to work when you're trying to defend Corey Lewis. And Lauren Robinson does such a good job utilizing her middles.
And she'll get to work. She'll get a breath as Kenna Phelan comes on to serve. Kelsey Perry comes into the front row for FSU.
Kenna Phelan very excited about using that jump serve. It's early in the season. It's okay to work out those kinks because when that serve works, it's extremely effective.
An early service error by Kenna Phelan. High risk, high reward. Here's Kylene Filamawa getting the swing off the right side, and that's a big block for UC Santa Barbara.
You did not see too much of that last night. Kylene Filamawa did a great job getting around the block, but right here, this UC Santa Barbara block just gets a little bit too big, and Kylene gets it right there with her right hand.
UC Santa Barbara last year a top 10 team in the country in blocks, averaging nearly 3%.
And it looks like that's carried over to this year. This blocking looks very complete.
FSU quickly siding out. The lead 4 for the Seminoles. Filamawa back to serve, and there's the FSU block. I mentioned the blocking came on strong. It was that player right there that really catapulted it. Kelsey Perry, the transfer from Iowa State.
She's a sophomore, and she's doing such a good job with her eyes, reading and getting up on time. She led the Noles in blocks last night, and here she is again today.
And nothing like an ace to keep that momentum rolling. Kylene Filamawa drops it in, and Matt Jones has seen enough. UC Santa Barbara calling an early timeout. The Noles on a 3-0 rip, leading by 6. For the Seminoles here in set 1, I mentioned they're on a 3-0 run, leading to the UC Santa Barbara timeout. And when you take a look at these all ACC players, Audrey Koenig, Corey Lewis, back-to-back Taylor Head, the transfer from Arkansas. No surprises, Alexandra, all 3 of them involved early in the offense.
Surely they are going to be focal points for Florida State. Taylor had a big one as she comes into this squad with so much experience. Last year with Arkansas, made it all the way to the Elite 8.
Back-to-back aces for Kylene Filamawa, one before and one right after the timeout. There's a service error, but a positive ratio nonetheless for Kylene.
And Sean, here comes Emery Dupes into serve receive. This was the difference maker last night. She's still recovering, so she's got limited usage, but she's been great on serve receive. And with 2 liberos now, that's what you can do.
It'll be Madison Triplett back to serve. There is Dupes, you mentioned, on serve receive. Audrey Koenig, the beneficiary of an in-system ball, out there on the right side, and she puts it away.
When it starts with a pass for Florida State, it's really hard to shut this team down. They've got hitters on all 3 fronts there, and Audrey Koenig doing what she does best, putting that ball in the back to the defense.
7-point lead for Florida State. Look at Filamawa laying out. A free ball to Santa Barbara. Out of the middle, that's a good-looking swing for Leanna Green.
Talking transfers, this is the key transfer for UC Santa Barbara. She's got such great experience, and she brings something different that Kylene does not bring. She's a little bit more athletic, a little bit faster, Coach Jones says, and she's got a lot of fire up there as well.
Yeah, a live arm. She flies around, transferred in from Northern Iowa, hit 385 a season ago. That's a service error, point right back to the Seminoles. So in comes Robertson, in comes Corey Lewis, and as Lauren Robertson goes back to serve, Alexander, you mentioned to me before the match that you were particularly impressed with her willingness not just to run the middle, but run the middle with a variety of middles. We'll get back to that in a second. A nice side out. Ava Travis puts that ball away for UC Santa Barbara.
She does a great job timing that ball, puts it to the hard angle. It's a really difficult ball to dig, and the middle just wasn't quite there for the block.
Out of the middle, Corey Lewis. Nice work defensively there by Harper Hall. And it leads to a block.
I'll tell you, this Gaucho team is hungry to do it today. They want to put this Florida State team away. Losing to Georgia last night must have fired them up extra today.
Showing a lot of grit are the Gauchos. Rivas goes back to serve. She serves Koenig. It's an overpass. Hall backs at Travis. Count it.
My goodness, she sees that line is open. The block is a little bit inside. She goes right around Taylor Head there for the line shot.
The lead trimmed down to 4. The Gauchos now on a 3-0 run. Rivas will serve it to Koenig once again. Out of the middle, Corey Lewis puts an end to the service rotation.
And like you said before, she's a setter that likes to run her middles. Corey Lewis wasn't there for the quick set. She set her just a little bit further off, and that works every time.
Last season, Lewis hit .432. And last night, hit north of 600. Miscommunication there, an opportunity now for Florida State. Out to the pin, Filamawa tools the block for the kill.
That was a low, quick tempo set, and Filamawa was able to get there. She drops her elbow a little bit, knows exactly how to tool off the block. That was impressive from her.
And just like that, the lead now back up to 6 for the Seminoles. A fast-paced, high-octane start to this match. Travis goes off speed on a sharp angle, and Filamawa goes with the roll. That's good enough for Emma McDermott. That's her first kill of the match. You don't often see the Gauchos roll. Matt Jones, Alexandra mentioning, they're more of a rip-it or tip-it type team.
Exactly. He wants his team to be intentional every time, and McDermott is a seasoned player on this team, so she knows what it's like playing in this offense.
Maddie Snyder continuing to build her reps and her confidence, just misses the end line. The attack error means it's point to UC Santa Barbara, and after trailing by as many as 7, they've trimmed it to 4. Snyder, again, this time it finds the end line.
And I'll tell you, that is what a veteran setter does. She's very close her first attempt and gives her the ball again for her to put it right down that time. That is how you build confidence in your team, and that's also how you build setter-hitter connection.
Absolutely. Maddie Snyder, 1.5 kills per set roundabouts a season ago. Just very quietly and solidly did her job for the Seminoles. And this is a player that's had one heck of a weekend. Ava Travis now her 3rd kill, had 10 kills against Georgia. What a start to her career.
I'll tell you, it's difficult to get over the hands of Audrey Koenig, but if you do that, you know you're touching at least 10-8, because that's around where Audrey Koenig's block is very impressive for Ava Travis.
So a good start for Travis. McIntosh, the primary setter in the 6-2 for the Gauchos, gets it back in play. And there has been a decided shift in momentum here as UC Santa Barbara continues to trim into the lead. Lois Hansen putting that ball away off the right pin, number 34.
And that ball is out more often than not, but because Florida State blockers reach so high, it's just barely a touch.
Lewis into the tape.
Not a ball that you see Corey Lewis miss often, but they also don't run the slide too often on serve receive, so that's a look at what they did right there. That set needed to be just a little bit tighter for Corey.
The lead is small as it has been in some time, and that's an overpass. McIntosh dug up. As the head coach, 27-5, won the Big West regular season, lost in the semifinal to Long Beach State, earned an at-large into the NCAA tournament where they lost to the University of Houston, but he's been with the program for some time, had a lot of seniors last year, Alexander. He said it's as an ideal first-year situation as you can hope to have.
Exactly, and now this is where the adversity might come into play. He's got 7 freshmen on this team, but he's proven that he's a fantastic coach and has the ability to create seasoned teams. He said he won first, second, and second those last 3 years in this conference. And this year, once again, they want to prove to be a top 25 contender.
Yeah, he went so far as to tell us that with the team that's got so much of that turnover, it's hard to handicap and project where you're going to be and what you're going to look like. But he said if we come out here and we give Georgia and Florida State a run for their money, we can head back.
Right now of what can we do as a team to come together to find that perfect balance.
Yeah, he said that a lot of coaches want their team to play mad, but playing mad from the drop to the final point takes a toll on you physiologically. So how can you ride that balance? Meanwhile, for Florida State, this is a team that Chris Poole says is deep, and as deep as he's seen, particularly at the pins, but they're not at full strength this weekend, Alexandra. And so he was a little nervous coming into this weekend to see how they'd match up with some of these teams.
Chris Poole's team this season has been fantastic. So far in last year, they were amazing as well. ACC co-champions. They had a top 10 win over number 6 Pitt, and Audrey Koenig, the ACC co-player of the year. You got to take that.
They went to Fayetteville, Arkansas for the NCAA tournament, matched up with the TCU team that posed a bit of a matchup problem for them. But again, they carry a lot over. Some players injured, Alexandra, but a lot of reason for optimism if they can really just sort of make their way through the weekend.
And Taylor Head is a huge addition. They lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament, but having her is a hope to make a deeper run into that tournament. And I'll tell you, this team really has the potential to do so.
Kenna Phelan will certainly also be a heavy part in that equation. The setter who gets UC Santa Barbara out of system once again, and FSU is there at the net to clean things up.
That set comes right back, and Audrey Koenig is there waiting for it. You want to see Santa Barbara get a little bit more crafty on offense, maybe try to push against the flow, give a ball to the outside.
Koenig, a preseason All-ACC selection, and her Florida State teammates now on a 3-0 run. The lead back up to 4. And there's a service ace once again. Boy, Florida State has really done a tremendous job of applying service pressure here in set 1.
High risk, high reward, as you said before, and Kenna Phelan getting so comfortable with that jump serve.
5 aces now in this first set for the Seminoles. And that one misses the sideline.
That ball was just out, and that's a little bit different than her other misses. Her other misses are deep. That time she's trying to place the ball, and you'll take that all day.
And so Emma McDermott will check in for UC Santa Barbara. She'll serve it, and that is long.
In a game as close as this one, you really want to try to eliminate those unforced errors. Santa Barbara's going to have to tame these missed serves.
FSU within 3 points of the first set. McDermott with the bump, and that is out of play. Lois Hansen would have hoped to catch an FSU hand. She did not.
Lois Hansen saw that the block was there, so you've got to try for the high hands or try to tool it off, but when you're out of system like that and you don't have enough space, it's a really difficult thing to do.
This time they go out to the pin, and the block was ready. Kelsey Perry, Audrey Koenig will bring up a handful of set points.
She gets out, and she's right there for the swing, but that block is just too complete. Kelsey Perry proving to be such an asset as a middle blocker.
Home fans on their feet, one finger in the air. Off the edge of the block, Philomela tracks it down.
That is an excellent play by Philomela.
And now Gaona digs that ball up. Gets through! After the tremendous defensive effort, it's Philomela who seals the opening set.
And that is why you lay out for every ball.
Of the net, you can also wear some things like nose rings and ear cuffs, assuming that they're not overly large. And if there is a protest with regards to score or something else throughout the course of the match, it has to be resolved during. Nothing to protest there. Corey Lewis with another kill, and she gets us underway in set 2. Lewis, the leading scorer on the floor, not just for Florida State. That her 4th kill on 7 swings, hitting .429. And there's another ace.
Taylor Head is so calm behind the service line. She rarely makes errors like we saw at the beginning of the match. And watch, she drops that ball right in front of that right back defender.
5 aces in the first set, 1 early here in the second for a Florida State team that last year averaged roughly 1.5 per.
And I'll tell you, that is the difference maker of this new rule of allowing doubles. It's the difference between a kill and a point versus a point for the other side. It definitely keeps the game moving momentum-wise, but it also takes some skill away from the fundamental position.
So Santa Barbara sides out. And Filamawa operates off the block. Good coverage there by Harper Hall. Likewise for Koenig, got a hand on that one. Out of system to Filamawa, hunting that back corner and missed it.
Filamawa put great pace on that ball. I like that she wasn't afraid to put a swing on it because that ball is only inches out.
So 2-all here in set 2. And an ace serve for UC Santa Barbara.
That's a fantastic, aggressive serve from Sophie Rivas. Audrey Koenig knows usually that's a pass that she can make. She shrugged her shoulders just a little bit, moved on the ball's contact there.
First ace of the match for the Gauchos. And there's a service error right on the backside of it.
And sometimes that happens. You ace the first point, you want to go back to that same player, overthink it just a little bit, and that ball flies out.
That'll bring up Ella Gaona, the sophomore from St. Louis, and Gaona drops in the ace.
She puts a very impressive float on the ball, especially for the fact that she's only 5'4". She's taken a huge leap in this offseason, proving to be an asset to Florida State.
Travis off the pin. Koenig, same story. Off speed by Travis. Filamawa, turn back. Koenig attacks the out-of-system and finds the Terraflex with it.
4 out-of-system plays for Florida State, and they still find a way to get it done. And Santa Barbara doing the same thing, fighting through that whole point. Ella Gaona with a great out-of-system set, and Audrey Koenig knows right where to put it. She doesn't try to do too much with it, just put it right in the middle of the court.
FSU nearly had their 8th ace. Corey Lewis had to dig that one out of the net. And Santa Barbara was ready to clean things up.
The Santa Barbara block is proving that they can contend with any offense. The way they stay in it and stay focused through that point.
Emma McDermott coming away with the rejection. And just like that, it's a 1-point second set. In case you're just joining us, FSU got out to an early 7-point lead over UC Santa Barbara in the first. The Gauchos erased 6 of those points, only to have FSU go on a huge run at the end. And so here we are early in set 2, trading points, trading blows back and forth. Koenig down the line. Back row Rivas with the tip. Back set McDermott. Turn back. And Travis drops the hammer again.
That is a smart set from Harper Hall. She is only a freshman, and head coach Matt Jones says what makes her so good and what made her this second setter when he had 5 to choose from was that she can go against the flow so well. That ball was set from 20 feet away, Sean.
Harper Hall was the second setter yesterday as well, recorded 20 assists against Georgia. And there she is getting a hand on that ball, keeping the Gauchos in the point. Now she sets the pin, and Travis is dug out by Robertson. Filamawa on the attack. Travis again played up by Dupes. And out of the middle, there's a kill for Kryling.
Filamawa was just a little bit late on that block right there. You'll see she begins to hesitate because she thought that the player was in the net there. You see her just a little bit confused at that call.
Andy Kryling, an all-Big West second teamer a season ago. Filamawa attacks from the 3-meter line and puts it down.
That is a great play, utilizing her. She's still a front row player, but kind of setting the back row at that same time. It's a great out-of-tempo set for this blocking team to try to adjust to.
And whether it's been plays like that or setting pins in the back row, we've seen Florida State be more intentional to do that here early on, haven't we?
Exactly. Florida State last year was a little bit hesitant to run those back row attacks, but last night and today so far, they've utilized them a lot more confidently.
High reach there for Kryling, a misconnection, and she nearly tipped it to the floor. It ends up missing the sideline, and it's a point to Florida State.
Head coach Matt Jones is not upset with that, though. Like you said, tip it or rip it. He wants her to be able to put the ball in a spot with the tip rather than the roll shot nearly every time.
So it's a 1-point lead for Florida State. Phelan back to serve. Nice job on serve receive there by Rivas. Kylene Filamaua, the way she has ranged over, thought she might have been able to make a play. I thought that was a good play by you, though.
Thanks, just waiting on my big day.
And that's put down. Hi there, everybody. Sean Davis and Alexandra DeCapua. Our entire crew here with you at Tully Gym. UC Santa Barbara leading at 8-7. Filamaua off the block. That's a kill for Kylene.
She wanted the ball that I touched, but went ahead and ended it with the kill anyways. That's what happens when you get fired up there.
8-all, second set. 5 kills on 12 swings for Filamaua. A couple of errors, so the hitting percentage at .250 for the sophomore. And she caught the corner.
Back-to-back points for her, being really smart with the placement of that ball. She knew exactly where she wanted to put it and landed it right in that deep corner.
7 aces, make it 8 for Florida State.
So smart, you go as deep as you can and then as short as you can. She's moving that ball around with every serve she has.
That's 4 aces for Kylene Filamaua in this match. Head down the line.
Taylor Head can do it all. She can swing and put the ball really anywhere she wants because she's such a seasoned player. That ball just landed on the line.
Filamaua back to work. UC Santa Barbara is out of system once again, and Travis missed the end line. No touch by the Seminoles, and we'll see if the Gauchos lobby for a challenge here. Matt Jones grabbing for the challenge card, and that is in fact what the Gauchos want to take a look at. Did Florida State touch that ball on its way out?
I like that head coach Matt Jones there looked at his team, saw that they wanted the touch, and he went with the challenge. You've got to trust your team even if you don't necessarily see it right there.
So no touch was the initial ruling, and if you're new to volleyball, let's walk you through the challenge rules. Each team begins the match with 2, and if you are successful in your challenge attempt, you keep it all the way until the end of the match. If the original call is upheld, you'll lose that challenge until the 5th set if you get there, at which point you can get it back. If you still have your 2 challenges going into the 5th set, you don't get a 3rd, you just still have 2.
The challenge system is very tricky, and that's what comes back down to trusting your team, because you know as a coach that if you don't get this challenge right, that you're going to lose it until you get to the 5th set. But at the same time, you've got to be able to keep your team in check and trust what their call is. We'll have a look here. Kelsey Perry reaches so high, but the question is, did she get to her peak before the ball crossed the plane of her block there? It definitely looks like she was high enough to touch the ball, but it's really going to be a matter of if that ball came through soon enough for Kelsey's hands to put a touch on it.
So there's Joya Teeter, our down referee, looking at the monitor to determine whether or not Kelsey Perry did touch that ball. That was hit by Ava Travis. FSU currently on a 5-0 run, and it's worth mentioning here too, if this point is overturned, the unique thing about volleyball is that you're not just taking a point away from a team, you're also giving it to another one. So it would quickly go from a 4-point FSU lead to a 2-point FSU lead.
A 2-point swing in a game like this would be huge for the momentum of the Gauchos. Now here's that overhead look where we'll be able to see if that ball came through soon enough. And I think Kelsey peaked after that ball crossed her plane. I think no touch is the right call, Sean.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough there to overturn that.
And these are great looks here.
And sometimes too, Alexander, whenever you do see a touch, you'll see the spin on the ball change, and I'm not sure we saw that really happen either.
And when you're going frame by frame like that on replays, it's a little bit difficult to see. But yes, when that ball changes direction, you immediately know that there's been a touch on it.
So again, the ruling on the floor was that there was no touch. This is the first challenge of the match early on here in set 2. Joya Teeter has made her decision. It was a point for Florida State, and it remains as such. So UC Santa Barbara is down to 1 challenge until a potential 5th set.
And there it is. Kelsey was up high enough, just a little bit too late on it, and lucky for her.
So that sends Kylene Philomawa back to serve. The Noles 4-point lead trimmed down to 3. Kryling in system out of the middle, puts that one down in a hurry.
Sometimes being angry at a call can be just as much of a momentum pusher as getting that call your way.
Yeah, we were talking about Matt Jones saying you can't play a whole match angry. I think you can play a point right there angry and be just fine. Perry off speed. Hansen off the right pin. Misconnection there for Florida State. Kryling again.
Florida State just a little bit out of system there. Taylor had to go to the far angle to make that play work, and Santa Barbara just capitalizing on it, tipping it right where the defense isn't.
UC Santa Barbara hitting 263 in the second set to Florida State's 188. That'll help.
There's only so many times that she can be set and not have a kill, right? So you know that she's going to mix it up. The last kill she had was deep line. This is going to be hard cross. She gets right through the block there.
3-point lead for Florida State. And there's a kill off the block for Lois Hansen, number 34. Hansen, go ahead.
Taylor Head's block was set up just a little bit too inside there, and Kelsey Perry wasn't able to get there to seal it, so she just missed off the hands.
Hansen, a red shirt out of Yorba Linda, California, has also spent some time working as an outside hitter for UC Santa Barbara. Was the starting opposite against Georgia, recorded 9 kills in that match for the Gauchos. There's Maddie Snyder off the right side for Florida State.
Always making her presence known. She is a calm force on the right side here for Florida State.
3-point lead for FSU midway through this second set as we creep up on our midway media timeout. The Noles as few as 1 point away from it. But it's going to be a free ball opportunity for the Gauchos. Hansen. Lois Hansen heating up from the right side for UC Santa Barbara.
That is a really difficult ball to swing on. You've got your block up there, so you've got to raise your thumb and get that hard cross. That's a very difficult ball to dig.
Lead back down to 2. Hansen, one of a number of players who took a red shirt a season ago. Emma McDermott, another one of those players. We've called on Ava Travis. She too took a red shirt a year ago. So players getting their first taste of playing time, but familiar with the program out there in Santa Barbara. And there you go for Florida State, tooling the block to re-extend the lead to 3. Midway through set 2, the Seminoles winners of set 1, 25-17. They lead set 2, 15-12.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to discuss the
Yeah, so we've got very pressing information. What exactly is a gaucho? And so we're going to explain it. Merriam-Webster defines a gaucho as a cowboy of the South American pampas. In 1936, that is when the mascot was established at UC Santa Barbara.
It is certainly a unique one there, and I'm hearing that it's from a movie that came out in that time. The student population voted for it. They wanted to be just a little bit different than all their other California foes.
There you have it. It was a silent film called The Gaucho that came out in 1927. And so, good stuff by our control room crew. Producer Luke Broderick, director Abby Longhofer, Meredith Grimm crushing it on the graphics. And I'll tell you who's crushing it. Ava Travis is crushing it from the pin, number 7.
She's having a massive day here for Santa Barbara, proving that she can contend with anyone. She is a young player, but being so confident up there in the front row. Watch her get right through those hands. The block was just a little bit too early there.
1 point lead, and Corey Lewis will record the kill off the block touch.
That's a lucky call there. The block was up and ready for it. Their hands just weren't quite angled in enough for that ball to be in.
Tight to the net, and a misconnection for UC Santa Barbara. Back row, head! No touch, and a point to UC Santa Barbara. Both teams were celebrating there for a sec. It goes the Gauchos' way, and we're back to a 1-point second set. Head rolls it over the triple block. Out of the middle, Corey Lewis. Dug up by Harper Hall, and then popped out of play.
Robertson utilizing Corey Lewis so well, knowing that they're a little bit out of system there, but trusting to set her anyways. And Corey puts a unique set swing on that ball, but it still works. Look, you see her having a laugh right there. They know that that wasn't their peak moment, but when it works, it works.
You'll take it. A service error there by the Seminoles. Kenna Phelan has already recorded multiple aces today. Had several yesterday. That's a service error, though. And the lead back down to 1. Here's Grace McIntosh back to serve for UC Santa Barbara, the primary setter in the 6-2 for the Gauchos. And she'll set the back row with Rivas.
This offense for Santa Barbara is being spread so well. This is an out-of-system play as well. A great dig. She could have set anyone, but instead she sets the pipe to mistime the block, confuse them, and it works.
Tied up at 17. Philamala, heavy cross, and that's good enough for the kill.
The block was not sealed on that one. It was a great set of fast tempo, and that's what Florida State needs to do. It's what both these teams need to do to compete against each other's blocks.
Both teams hitting north of 300 in this second set. FSU hitting over 300 for the match. Back set, cross court, count it. I believe that was Madison Triplett who got a swing off on that.
This is a player that's another freshman in this program, was recruited as an outside, played a little bit of libero as well, and is just being such an asset for the Gauchos here.
Head over the triple block. Travis plays it up. Battle at the net, and UC Santa Barbara comes away with the point.
That's a difficult one. When that ball's coming over on your side, you want to be the one up first, but to win those points, you've got to be the second blocker up, and that's why That ball went down there for Florida State.
Timeout by the Seminoles. And while we got a moment and we're looking on to that coach's huddle over on UC Santa Barbara's side of things and now looking at Florida State, we'll take a look at the season in review for the Gauchos. Last year, 27-5, only one loss in conference play. They were 1-1 against top 25 opponents, defeating Iowa State. They lost in the Big West semis in a 5-setter to Long Beach State. Got an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. And Alexander, you mentioned they've got a reputation of being one of those mid-majors that's around the top 25 themselves and is good for some upsets and is a staple at the top of the conference.
Exactly. Last year, 1-1 versus top 5 opponents. This year, they're facing 5. Head coach Matt Jones is not afraid to throw his team into the fire, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing this season.
I thought it was interesting, too. He mentioned that he felt it was a responsibility to the Big West Conference to go out there, schedule some high RPI games, and contribute to the strength of schedule and to the strength of the overall conference, not just what his individual team was doing.
Heroic efforts from Matt Jones, certainly. I was surprised when he said that as well. And it's true, though, when you bring that type of winning into the conference, it only makes everybody look better. And for them to be able to compete the way they are against Florida State tonight, Georgia last night, and the teams they have yet to come, should be a good walk.
And he said, too, if you don't do the way you want to, if you don't perform the way you want to, you can always count it as we threw our team into the fire and now we're ready for conference play. They are fully engulfed here with Audrey Koenig, who puts that ball down to knot it up at 19.
Audrey Koenig been a little bit quiet in these first 2 days, not putting the contact on the ball she's used to, but that is a textbook Audrey Koenig swing.
Wow!
The fast tempo offense proving to be effective. Now both these middles, Kryling and Corey Lewis, going toe-to-toe here today. Look at this back set. The block is not ready for it. They have not run that set all day, but it works right there.
22 kills now in the match for UC Santa Barbara to Florida State's 24. The Noles won the first set by 7. Snyder turned back. That's a huge block for the Gauchos, who have their biggest lead at any point in this match.
Sophie Rivas, another player having an incredible day. She gets both of her hands on that ball despite a great swing put on it.
UC Santa Barbara has entered the red zone. The period of the set that teams identify as the last 5 points. Taylor Head tools the block for a kill for Florida State. Now the Noles are in the red zone as well.
I think she was knowing that she was going to do that the whole time. She gets so far out wide on her approach that she's going to come in on the hands that really they have no way to go but out. That is an excellent tool from her.
And that sets the stage for Lauren Robertson, who checks in. Harper from the right pin. That's another kill for UC Santa Barbara in this second set. The 16th kill of the set for the Gauchos, who are hitting north of 450.
Rattling the Florida State defense a little bit. They can make those plays, just getting a little bit confused in communication there.
16 kills on 30 swings, with only a couple of attack errors for the Gauchos as they look to equalize this match 1 set apiece. Corey Lewis has other plans.
That's a set where you think Corey Lewis is not going to get the ball. She's already past Lauren Robertson right there. You think that it's going to go to one of the pins, but no, she utilizes her middles, and why wouldn't you? You've got Corey Lewis right there.
So Lewis records the kill, her 7th on 10 swings, hitting 600 with 1 attack error. McDermott into the net. Point Florida State. We're tied at 22.
Those out-of-system balls are very difficult, but that's an aggressive swing, and when it's been working so far, you want to keep with it. That's a close play there at the tape.
So Santa Barbara calls the timeout. Each team heads back to their respective huddles. And as we take a look at the journey to this point, total kills, Florida State 26, the Gauchos 23. Aces, that's been where FSU has gained some separation, and a lot of separation at that. 9-1, 5 in the first, 4 in the second. In digs, FSU with 2 more than UC Santa Barbara, 20-18.
What I'm seeing right here is the offense and the defense is extremely comparable. You can see it in the score, right? Florida State dominating behind the service line, though. That's been the difference maker for them. That's the reason they're in this game. Santa Barbara has played stronger volleyball thus far, but those points behind the service line look all the same on the scoreboard, Sean.
Yeah, Santa Barbara as a team hit below 100 in that first set, largely due to all that service pressure that Florida State applied. They actually recorded kills on half of their swings, just didn't have a ton of them, and a lot of times they were out of system as well, and it just wasn't a good deal for the Gauchos. This set, 16 kills, 31 swings, 3 errors. They've been in system a lot more, despite the fact that FSU's dropped in 4 aces.
It's definitely been a different brand of volleyball here in this second set.
Out of the middle, there's a tip by Liana Green.
Not only was it a tip, it was a tip with her left hand, Sean. That is a righty hitter. She knows that she's missed that placement, but she puts that ball right down, right in the tip behind Corey Lewis. Emery Dukes in the game, Sean. A perfect pass and serve receive. She steps right out, but she's getting comfortable in this game, and Corey Lewis doing what she does best, that quick set. Ball goes straight down every time.
Another kill for Corey Lewis. The home crowd fully engaged here. Set 2 between the Gauchos and the Seminoles. Travis off the block. Robertson couldn't range over and get it. Head was charging up. She couldn't get to it either. And that means the Gauchos have set point here in the second. Hesitation by Corey Lewis. And the veteran middle knocks it up at 24.
I have to tell you, I think that is a veteran move from the setter right there. She knows that quick set isn't going to be there. Give it to Corey to go ahead, mistime it, and put the tip down. That's smart from both of those players.
24 all. We're going to go beyond 25. And the timeout on the floor, I believe they announced for Florida State. Wow. What a match to this point. It's been high tempo, high energy, high octane, and this set has been particularly intriguing as we're going to go beyond the regulation point of 25.
This set is certainly the best volleyball both of these teams have played thus far in this tournament, and therefore the season, right? Because we're only in day 2. You've got to be extremely happy for both of these teams as they're competing as hard as they are. In system, all heart, all fight.
Yeah, you're talking about a Florida State team that was facing set point. They're hitting north of 350 because UC Santa Barbara is hitting 450. It's just really good, clean volleyball both ways. FSU's had more success in the aces and with service pressure. UC Santa Barbara's found something with their block here of late, and they've equaled Florida State in blocking 4 apiece to this point.
And I'll tell you what else, they're already familiar with this type of pressure. They had 2 sets yesterday where they took Georgia, and that was a 2-point differential. So they know what this game point mentality feels like this early in the season. And I think they're ready for it here in this second set.
Georgia winning that match on an ace serve, no less. As you mentioned, Alexandra, 15-13.
And this is baby Delaney, Joe McCall, and Karis McCall, his wife. That is our engineer, and their new baby girl. How sweet is she?
The youngest fan in the stadium. I think we have a feeling who they're rooting for. And Audrey Koenig and company will try to deliver. Meanwhile, the Gauchos will deliver their second set point.
The freshman unafraid to put a rip on that ball when the block was there. Look how high she gets up and over to put that swing down.
Ava Travis, the leading scorer for the Gauchos. Her 8th kill on 18 swings, hitting .390 from the pin. Second set point for Santa Barbara.
Where else are you going to go but to Audrey Koenig, who wants the ball in every high-pressure situation? That is the difference maker with this Florida State team. You have 2 outside hitters that want the ball, that know how to handle the pressure.
36 combined kills in this set. Knotted up at 25. That's a service error by Filamawa. And set point opportunity number 3 coming for the Gauchos. Dupes takes it on serve, receive.
Like I said, these are 2 outside hitters that want the ball in every high-pressure situation. Taylor Head knows what this moment is like. This is only the 2nd set of a ball game here. She hits the hard cross on that. Nobody's getting that up.
Filamawa setting Snyder. And that'll be another set point opportunity for UC Santa Barbara.
That set just a little bit misplaced, and Maddie Snyder wasn't far back enough to put the approach she wanted on that ball, but aggressive nonetheless. This is what the red zone of volleyball is like.
Triplet serves it in, and Filamawa is jammed up. A bump to Koenig off the block. Taken over on 2, Perry gets to it, underhanded, joust. Hesitation for Head, and that's good.
And how about Kylie Filamawa facing the back of the court and putting a ball up for Taylor Head to put away? These 2 teams staying in this fight. Look at that set, it's inside, and Taylor Head puts it right into that campfire.
And Alexandra, something to keep an eye on. Joya Teeter just let FSU know they are at 12 subs. Each team gets 15, and when you're in a 6-2, you burn through those subs quicker than you would in a 5-1.
Shirley, unfortunately for them, their setter has just rotated in, so they're clear on subs for at least 2 rotations here.
Back row, look at Travis.
Ava Travis coming up huge in the red zone of this game here. Look at this massive swing from the back row. Absolutely rips it to that back left corner.
5th set point opportunity for Santa Barbara. Robertson on the run, setting Head. Off the edge of the block and down.
Taylor Head did such a nice job there timing that ball. It's high with a lot of spin on it, so you've got to know exactly how to attack it, and she sure does. This is a 5th-year player.
Now goes back to serve for Florida State. Out of the middle, off the block, it's down for the kill. Leanna Green puts the Gauchos on the doorstep for a 6th time.
That is impressive connection from a setter to the middle hitter there. The middle had just overrun that ball, and she still finds a way to put it down. Setter put it right to her hands. That's great from the freshman Hall.
Sophie Rivas will serve it in. Yet another set point. The Seminoles have not seen one themselves in this set, but they have now erased 6.
She's been defending, she's been assisting these last red zones, but there she goes with a big swing there.
And that sends Ella Gaona back to serve. McDermott picked up by Robertson. Add a system ball to Filamawa. She throws it.
The The block is there. They just didn't turn their hands in, but Filamaua making it work. When that ball has a lot of spin on it and you go up to hit it, the tool becomes easier and easier.
First set point opportunity for the Seminoles right here. Travis off speed. Georgia to 5, 15-13 in the fifth, and lost it on an ace serve. So they certainly have equal potential to force further sets in this one. They must win this third here. First to 25, win by 2 for the set, and if it's FSU for the match. Taylor Head will want to touch. She won't get the call by James Phillips, and Santa Barbara is on the board first in the third.
She picked the right spot, though. That is an unusual miss wide for her.
So a good start here to this set for UC Santa Barbara, who will send Sophie Rivas back to serve. We mentioned earlier that she was the opposite last season, now the veteran left pin for the Gauchos. Speaking of veterans, and veterans who can come up clutch, Corey Lewis did that late in set 2. That is now her 11th kill of the match on 14 swings, Alexandra.
A smart setter knows when to feed their hitters, and it's always when they're hot. And Corey Lewis has proven today that she has been hot. This is her day.
100%. Good pass there. Green out of the middle, missed the sideline. Point Seminoles.
The Gauchos will take that all day, though. They made the connection. The swing was there. It was just a little bit out.
Leanna Green, who in addition to being an all-conference volleyball player at Northern Iowa, was also on the track and field team as a high jumper. Nice addition, to say the least, for Santa Barbara. She couldn't come away with the kill, though, there. Third try, that time she's got it.
She is a firecracker out of the middle. She's got a quick arm speed, even when she can't get the full approach there. Watch this FSU defense get this ball up. Kylene Filamaua, the play continues. And Leanna Green is just fantastic, proving in this point that she's got it.
Green had 10 kills on 16 swings against Georgia. Only one error, hit north of 500. She has 4 on 9, nearly a triple ace there. Good coverage by Robertson. Joust at the net, and UC Santa Barbara will come away with the point. What's interesting is we were being walked through that exact scenario before the match by Joya Teeter, and you can get a double contact call in that scenario when you're the second one to the ball. Lewis out of the middle, puts it away.
She misses that first play just a little bit and goes right back at it for a big swing here.
Kill number 12 for Corey. Gaona serves the freshman Travis. Out of the middle, Kryling, batted across by Filamaua. McDermott rejected off the tip by Audrey Koenig.
Koenig had both hands on that ball. That was an easy one. She put that right down. You watch her get up. She knows that she's got that ball there.
So back and forth we go once again. Set 2 played out a lot like this. And there's Travis off the edge of the block.
An impressive tempo from the setter Hall there. She pushes that ball outside so quickly. Neva Travis is there timing the ball well all day. She can hit it when it's off speed. She can hit the tempo sets. And she's an undersized player. She's been very impressive here on the left pin.
Freshman feeding redshirt freshman too, no less. So that is a tandem that will be in Santa Barbara for some time.
Quick huddle to regroup right there. That's an uncharacteristic mistake from Sophie Rivas. She knows she's typically not gonna.
Here's the jump top from Kenna Phelan. Nice job by Triplett on serve receive. Good decision off speed into the campfire for the Gauchos.
They are so good at placing this ball. That is a set that she probably could have put a swing on there, but Kryling is just such a smart player. She knows this system at Santa Barbara, and she puts that ball right down.
Kelsey Perry on the attack for Florida State. There's Harper off the right pin for UC Santa Barbara. Kreiling tried to dig that out of the net. Couldn't do so. Point Seminoles.
That is a triple block, and it just shows how much power Taylor Head has. She's from the back row there and just forces that ball through the blocker's hands. Watch her get up on this, put a massive swing on it. Hands are there from Lewis Hansen.
Overpass. Picked up by Gaona. That's Koenig on the cross. Rivas. Good looking swing for number 14 in gray.
And that is how you correct an unforced error, with a big swing right through the blocker's hands. This is an out-of-system set. She times it perfectly and gets right through Kelsey Perry's hands there.
6-all, set 3. Madison Triplett back to serve. A player who's listed as an outside, who's also cross-trained and has done a lot of good work leading up to this season in the back row. So she's wearing one of the 2 libero jerseys for the Gauchos. Overpass. Perry tried to put it down. Good coverage by Harper. Travis sends the free ball over. Over on 2. Look at Kenna Phelan.
That is not something you see often from Kenna Phelan, but that just shows her volleyball IQ is growing. That spot has been open all day, and for her to go ahead and put it there right now, while Gauchos are still trying to find themselves, they're still struggling a little bit to gain their momentum. That's the play you want to make.
Service error gives the point right back to UC Santa Barbara. Harper Hall sends it in.
Taylor had got a little bit of a jump on that set because her and Kenna Phelan usually run a really quick tempo set. That ball came out of the hands just a little bit weird for Kenna there, just a mistiming.
And so we're tied at 8. Koenig takes it on serve receive. Phelan sets Filamawa in the back row. McDermott got around the double block. And Head runs out of room.
Both these teams just have to calm down a little bit. You're seeing nervous errors, not necessarily unforced, but just uncharacteristic errors from both of these teams.
After a second set where both of these teams hit well north of 300. Both teams hitting in the 200s here in this third. Tight to the net, Rivas turned back. Back set, Rivas snipped out by Kelsey Perry. FSU had a flurry of blocks early, and this will be their first one since.
Kelsey Perry is proving that she is a middle blocker in one of the hardest conferences in college volleyball. Watch her get all the way across this net, read that ball, and put that ball down in the court.
Robertson serves it in. Corey Lewis checks into the front row, got a hand on it. Snyder swats it over. Rivas hammers it to the Terraflex off the right side.
And that is what Coach Jones talks about. Harper Hall going against the flow. Feels Corey Lewis staying with the middle there. What does she do? Makes the difficult set to the right pin.
That sends Rivas to the back row. 1 point lead for UC Santa Barbara. They must win this set to extend the match. Travis picks it up. McDermott off the right side. Snyder giving chase. Harper Hall calls her own number. Filamawa covers.
Filamawa all over this court, keeping Florida State in the game. That's a difference of a big point here. Watch this ball come up. The set gets made from her knees, and of course, Taylor Head is gonna put that right down the line. That is not an easy thing to do right there. She could have gone to the middle of the court, made the easier play, but instead Taylor Head puts it down the line.
So Kylene Filamawa continues to flex this weekend, showing the full variety of what she can do and who she can be for Florida State. A couple of assists, 5 digs, 4 aces, 8 kills, hitting .375, all in a day's work. Taylor Head back to serve, and that is the 10th ace for FSU in this match.
This service pressure is going to prove so important for Florida State all year long. Keeping these errors limited back behind the service line and serving competitively can be a huge thing in their volleyball game this year.
You know, you go back to the national championship match last year when Texas just literally didn't give Nebraska much wiggle room at all, and it was all service pressure that kept the Huskers out of system. And there you have it, an overpass, and Filamawa knows exactly what to do with it.
She is so aggressive. She does not hesitate. That ball came up and over. She could have kept it in system, but instead puts it down herself. She wants the ball. She's been ready for it all season long. More of that when we return.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing.
2-point lead for Florida State in what could be a decisive third set. Corey Lewis leading the way for the Seminoles, and with more on number 8 and Garnet, here's Jordan Stone.
Yeah, Sean, Corey Lewis has been a mainstay at middle blocker for the Seminoles and is coming off her best season yet at Florida State. She recorded a career-high 271 kills with a .432 hitting percentage, which just so happened to rank 4th in Division I last year. The senior from right here in Tallahassee has 12 kills so far through 2 sets.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Those 12 kills are 3 off of her career high. Great swing by Filamawa once again, who now has her 10th kill of this match. But going back to Corey for a second, Alexandra, her career in Garnet and Gold has been decorated, but what's been huge for her was what she did in red, white, and blue over the summer.
Oh yeah, she was with Norseca Team USA. They went and played a tournament in the Dominican Republic. And I had the chance to ask her about it, and she was just so excited, Sean. She said that this team was unlike anything I've ever been on. She was the shortest of 5 middles there, and she got the most playing time of all of them. She said she learned so much. She was so pushed by each one of those middles and the coaches.
And speaking of the coaches, the lady just to her right in that team picture is Taiba Hanif Park, who was the 2nd assistant coach for that Norseca Final 16. She's also the head coach of the San Diego Mojo in the Pro Volleyball Federation. In fact, named the Coach of the Year in the Pro Volleyball Federation. And she said that of all the middles that she had on that team that she worked directly with, it was Corey Lewis who impressed her the most and was the player that she felt had the highest ceiling. Went so far as to call her a unicorn because she didn't come up in the Team USA system growing up, so she was new to a lot of people and impressed a lot of people in that limited body of work that first time they saw her over the summer.
And that's another thing we spoke about. I said, Corey, how amazing is it to know that you just came from Florida High, you've come here, you've played a fantastic career at Florida State, and now you're having the opportunity to play for Team USA. She said, I still can't believe it.
Certainly, rightfully so. It's been a tremendous career for her, and it's been a tremendous showing by Andy Kryling, who just put that ball down. Another kill for Kryling. That tightens the set up to a 1-point third set. Her 8th kill on 11 swings. Going toe-to-toe with Corey Lewis and looking pretty darn good, Kryling. As Corey Lewis says, that's nice. I've got another kill in my arsenal right here.
That slide didn't work the first time they tried it, but of course, Lauren Robertson is going to try it again. That's what she does with these middles. If you miss it the first time, she's going to feed it to you again.
So with that, her 13th kill, hitting .750. Corey Lewis pushes the Noles ahead by 2. Kelsey Perry checking in to the front row. And Kenna Phelan checking in to serve the jump top into the tape. And Santa Barbara sides out.
The no fear to go ahead and keep that serve up is very impressive from Kenna. It's hard to do. It's a hard serve. She just missed the tape there.
Koenig goes with the roll. It's picked up by Travis, the freshman. Second effort for Koenig. And no touch by UC Santa Barbara.
That ball was just a little bit behind Audrey Koenig's head there. You see her shaking her hand a little bit. She wasn't able to put the speed in the snap that she needs to put that ball down.
So a couple of points in a row now for the Gauchos. Must win this set to see a 4th. Filamaua turned back into the floor. Kryling puts it down.
I'll tell you, these blockers are fun to watch. All of these Gauchos are so excited, so in this volleyball game. Look at this solo block here.
And that was Rivas at the pin that got her hands on that. And there is the other pin hitter, Lois Hansen, teaming up with Kryling off the right side to reject Koenig.
It's amazing. Your volleyball can be out of system, but when the block is there, it does so much for team momentum. Look at this team fired up for each one of their blocks. It's like Florida State cannot put one down right now.
A 4-0 run for the Gauchos, who now lead this third set by 2.
This is as big of a lead as they had in the second set as well, but right now they are fired up. They want to stay in this match, and they're loving the camera as well.
Hey, they're having a good time, and it's great to see those smiles. Tough ending to set number 2, but they have put themselves in tremendous position in this match. In the second set, obviously, and now here again in the third, going toe-to-toe with Georgia yesterday and giving Florida State a run for their money here today. We mentioned earlier that Santa Barbara is fitting in beautifully in how Florida State likes to schedule tough. Well, the Gauchos obviously like to schedule tough as well, and with more on that, here's Jordan Stone.
Yeah, Sean, the Gauchos were the Big West regular season champions in 2023, an impressive 27-5 record. Head coach Matt Jones says that they want to be great and they expect their program to compete at the top of the conference, but that right now they're really focused on setting themselves up well to do good in this non-conference slate. Making the NCAA tournament is crucial, and having a resume that allows them to do that is permanent as they lead 17-15 here in this third set.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jordan. There you see the schedule ahead. They've got the Noles, obviously, right now. Next weekend, Arizona State. Their home opener, by the way, against a new ACC team, the Stanford Cardinal. And then they also square off with Pittsburgh, who just swept Oregon off the floor last night in Eugene. So Dan Fisher's got another high-caliber Pittsburgh squad on hand as well. Koenig has been stifled so far this weekend, and Sophie Rivas goes off speed, caught the touch, got the kill.
This team rises to the occasion. You saw in that schedule, that's not 5 ranked opponents throughout the course of the season. That's 5 ranked opponents in the first 15 days of the season. They're here and they're ready for it.
I think it's interesting after obviously that service error, but we talked with Matt Jones a few days ago, and he said, look, if there's anything I want people who aren't familiar with my program to know about us, he said 2 things, and he joked. He said, 1 is if there's any potential recruits out there, we've got a beautiful campus by the beach. And 2, we're out here to prove that we in our mid-major conference are every bit as good as some of these top 25 teams. And they have done so here today. Point goes to Florida State off speed. It finds the floor. Still a 1-point lead for the Gauchos in a set they must win. Short serve there by Filamaua. Picked up nicely. FSU turns back the Gauchos. Now Rivas will try again. Koenig off the block. Kept up by Triplett. And Kryling will be called for being in the nets.
Scrappy volleyball from UC Santa Barbara, but that service error to kick the momentum, it's sometimes really difficult to do. When you come off of a timeout and you miss a serve, it can really disrupt momentum. And you see right here, they just can't get in system, but that's a great play to keep this ball in play.
Live to see another sucked out Nate. I don't know. Taylor had just hammered that ball. They kept themselves in the rally for exactly 5 more seconds until this.
That is the most pace we've seen from Taylor Head in these first 2 days here. This ball is straight down. That is a quick set, and she makes that happen.
13th kill of the match for Taylor Head, and now the Seminoles push ahead 19-18, approaching the red zone here in set 3. 13 for Head, 13 for Lewis, 11 now for Kyleen Filamawa, who is one away from her career high set a season ago. But sticking with Head for the moment, last season at Arkansas was a third-team All-American, first-team All-Conference, nearly 500 kills, and the first ever trip to the Elite Eight for Arkansas.
She was a leader on that team, and she's going to be a leader here now. She's fit so well into this Florida State program. She's developed great setter-hitter connection, and you can tell the competitive spirit that she has each and every point. She takes every play seriously. Even though this is the second match of the season, it doesn't matter to her. You can tell by her intensity that this is as if it's the postseason now.
And as we take a look at UC Santa Barbara discussing things here late in set 3, I want to go back to Florida State for a second, Alexandra, because this is an FSU team that does not have their German transfer, Jana Henke, who was a D2 transfer. She played some dates in Germany before she went to her Cal State LA stop a couple of years ago. So now as she makes the move to D1, has to sit out 3 matches. She's not available this weekend, but she'll be a pin hitter. You've got Filamawa, you've got Koenig, you've got Head, you've got Snyder. Boy, there is a ton of depth at the pin for Florida State.
I'll tell you, Florida State's head coach Chris Poole is going to have his hands full when he gets yet another dominant pin hitter to join this group. How do you pick a starting lineup? I'm very eager to see what he does and what Jana Henke brings to the table.
It'll be a lot of fun to see all of that. The service error by Kyleen Filamawa knots it up at 19. So the timeout to discuss things for Santa Barbara pays off. A, you get a chance to talk. B, you also iced Filamawa. And here we are, knotted up once again. Head turned back. What a huge rejection by Rivas off the right.
That last play, Taylor Head got through the hands of the block. This play, that block was sealed. That is what the Gauchos do. They're making adjustments as they go. That's a phenomenal block from Leona Green.
And that was Green crashing in. He'll be credited with the solo stuff. And that is a timely ace serve for Madison Tripwood.
She is loving it. The freshman here so excited to ace that ball. Just some miscommunication in serve receive right there.
Head takes it on first contact. Koenig on the attack, tight to the net. And that would have been the 4th contact, sending it over.
A great swing by Koenig, a respectable up from Ava Travis in the back row, but when it's too tight like that, there's just not much you can do.
Still a 1-point lead for UC Santa Barbara. Tip for Green. And a tip for Perry, just shoving it to the floor.
That is a power tip if I've ever seen one. She could have put a swing on that ball. She could have put a light tip on it. She shoves it instead. That is so impressive. Watch her get up. She can't even put an approach on the ball.
And that ties us at 21. Harper off the right side. And Harper comes back defensively with Green to reject the Seminoles and take the lead again.
Lois Hansen has proven to be such an asset on the right side, primarily for her block from outside hitters. She has been great tonight.
Snyder, cross court. Off speed by Head. Another roll by Head, this time through the block and down.
It's the volleyball IQ, and it is going to be the difference maker all season for Taylor Head versus the entirety of their opponents. She is so smart with the ball. She knows exactly where that defense is not and puts it right there.
Robertson back to serve, Lewis back to the front row for Florida State. Harper Hall setting McDermott at the pin. That is wide, point Seminoles.
That is a strong swing and the right idea. She wasn't able to get enough of an approach on the ball, hit it just behind her head.
Good pickup by Filamaua. Head to the corner.
She makes that play and immediately touches Kylene Filamaua because she knows if Kylene had not made that pancake dive right there to keep them in the game, that kill does not happen. She is a leader on this court, Taylor Head.
And off the 3-0 run, match point for Florida State. McDermott threads the needle. Snyder! And the Seminoles seal their second sweep to start off 2024.
Too many